So I'm going to talk a little bit about product, price, place, and promotion. So with my discussion regarding strategic business units, I talked a little bit about the fact that each strategic business unit operates almost as if it's a mini corporation underneath the umbrella of the wider organization. So we said that each SBU will have its own mission statement. And also we want to keep in mind that each SBU will then have its own marketing mix. So when we talk about marketing mix, we're basically referring to the 4'P's. And so for those of you who've taken high school business courses, you're probably familiar with the 4'P's. It's probably one of the concepts or frameworks that's most popular with respect to marketing overall. So fun times ahead, right? So when we talk about the marketing mix, basically we're looking at product, price, place, and promotion, right? So product, price, place, and promotion. And I'm just going to use, I don't know, maybe Whole Foods to kind of jumpstart the conversation, right? So if we think about Whole Foods and we talk about product, we first of all want to consider that product isn't just about the physical, tangible products that are on the shelves of Whole Food stores. It also refers to packaging, branding, etc. All those would be a part of Whole Foods. So the labels that are on the package, perhaps signage that's used for the store, the actual physical, tangible products, brand equity, all of those would be considered to be aspects or characteristics of product, right? So we want to expand beyond our maybe initial take or our instinctive take on product, and we want to go a little bit beyond, or we want to expand that, or we want to stretch that a bit. So again, with product, we want to talk or consider quality, we want to consider design, we want to consider brand equity, packaging, etc. Right? So if we move on to place, place is all about convenience. So where does the customer want to obtain the product? So we know that with Whole Foods, that in the past, Whole Foods, they aren't on every street corner, right? Whole Foods has been very strategic in terms of where they've opened up stores. As of late, Whole Foods has decided to enter into urban markets. So Whole Foods actually opened a store in Inglewood, in Chicago. Inglewood is an impoverished community. In Inglewood, you may have heard about Inglewood in the news. It's a community that has been ravished by crime. And we know that Whole Foods decided to open up a shop in this area because of the needs of the consumers in that area. And I'll expand upon that in another lecture. But most importantly, we want to consider place. So how can you make it convenient for consumers to purchase your product? So it's important for a company to look at a wide range of consumers, right? So if we know that Whole Foods, if they only focused on upper class, affluent consumers, they would have never considered moving into Inglewood. But Whole Foods, like other corporations, are realizing that there is potential that exists in impoverished areas, and that lower income consumers are buying groceries and are buying other product to the same degree as affluent customers, etc. Now, did Whole Foods have to adjust their prices when they moved in Inglewood? Yes. But what we want to consider, again, place is making the product available for consumers and making it convenient for them. So, should you offer products online? We know that Amazon now, you can buy groceries online through Amazon and through other retail outlets such as Walmart, etc., which is causing the traditional grocers a significant amount of distress, right? We know that even with groceries, Amazon has the pay and go, where you can basically go into a Amazon outlet and you don't have to actually use cash, but you basically, your items are automatically scanned and it's connected to your account, and you're automatically charged as you leave or exit the store, right? So again, place considerations: should the product be available online? Should they be available in bricks and mortar environments? Should they be available in both environments? How can you make this convenient for customers? Again, I think Amazon is on the cutting edge or forefront in terms of place considerations. So we want to move on and talk a little bit about promotion. How do you advertise your product? How do you communicate the product offerings that you have to relevant target markets? So should you advertise via television? Should you advertise via social media? If we think about Whole Foods in the beginning did not advertise. They didn't invest a significant amount in advertisements and promotions. As of late, Whole Foods has invested more in promotional pieces such as posters, signage that's used within the store, like banner ads, etc. Whole Foods is starting to invest more, and I'm sure that part of the reason they've ramped up their efforts with advertising is because of the increased competition for grocers overall. We know we have a number of boutique grocery stores, right? Such as Mariano's, we have Standard Market. There are a number of different grocers that are popping up that are more specialized, that are offering premium offerings, etc. And that has created more competition for Whole Foods than ever before. So as of now, promotion is probably more critical. All right. So last P that we want to talk about is price. We know generally that consumers associate price with quality. So the higher the price, consumers typically consider that the higher the quality. Now, we also want to keep in mind that price can sometimes cause consumers to reject or to abandon a product offering. We know that when Apple first introduced the iPhone, they had to drop the price because consumers were leery of the product, and they eventually had to offer consumers $200 rebate that could be used on Apple products because consumers were basically resistant to the price that was being charged. If we think about Whole Foods has responded to consumers' concerns regarding price. We know that Whole Foods in some circles has been referred to as whole paycheck, right? I've heard that from you guys in class. So that's something I learned from you. But when we talk about Whole Foods has responded to consumer concerns about price by putting more emphasis on their private label offering, which is 365. Forgive me if I don't have the numbers right. I believe it's 365. But Whole Foods actually has created a new store platform called 365, which basically focus on their private label merchandise. This new Whole Foods doesn't necessarily, they don't have all the bells and whistles of the traditional Whole Foods store. Instead, it's kind of bare bones. It's more of a warehouse feel. They have exposed beams overhead and exposed lights, etc. Food is displayed in crates or in cardboard boxes, etc. They don't have the fancy displays that you might be familiar with. But again, Whole Foods is responding to consumers' concerns regarding price, and they've decided that, hey, maybe they can reach new target segments by evolving or expanding their brand. So again, what we want to keep in mind when we talk about product, price, place, and promotion is that they are very interdependent. You don't necessarily want to consider one element of the marketing mix independently, but you want to consider the impact that they have on one another. So as you increase or elevate the quality of the product, as you elevate or change product attributes, maybe you have more latitude with respect to price. So if we look at the iPhone 10, we know that Apple has promised, that the iPhone 10, wireless charging, etc., has better attributes or more innovative attributes than any other product or any other phone that they've ever offered. Hence, Apple is basically saying that the attributes warrant the $1,000 price point, right? So again, we want to look at the connection between the various elements of the marketing mix. We do not want to consider any one element of the marketing mix independently because they all work together. Similarly, the type of product or the product attributes may impact the particular way that you promote the product. Maybe there are some products that could be better advertised via television versus being advertised in print. And again, if we think about particular product attributes or types of products, we also want to consider that some products may do or sell better in a traditional bricks and mortar environment, perhaps than they will sell online, vice versa, right? So again, there's connection between each individual element of the marketing mix.